This is Mayor Chris Bollwage, and welcome to another edition of Our City. On May 4th at 4:30 in the afternoon, I'm going to join members of the Mexican community here in our city for the Cinco de Mayo flag raising. It will be held in front of City Hall. There will be some Mexican music and other festivities. I'll also be cutting a ribbon for a new restaurant called La Mexicana on May 5th at 3 p.m. And on Saturday, May 6th, we will have an autism awareness event. It will be a community caravan that will begin at Veterans Memorial Waterfront Park at 10 o'clock in the morning. Residents can visit our social media sites for any additional information or call our public information office at 908-820-4124. Keep in mind that we're still providing testing for the COVID-19 virus as well as vaccinations. You can ask our public information office, 908-820-4124, or visit our social media sites. While the numbers are way low, the virus is not over. Personal responsibility is extremely important. This week's show, for the beginning, I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Jonathan Phillips, who's the Executive Director of Groundwork Elizabeth and one of the tour organizers, if not the tour organizer, of the Tour de Elizabeth to be held here in the city of Elizabeth in a couple of weeks on May 21st. I'm also joined by Darren Bryden, the city of Elizabeth, who's a member of the Tour de Elizabeth Bicycle Committee. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mayor. Great to be here, Mayor.
So Darren, you ride every year?
I don't.
You don't?
I ride in a police car usually.
You ride in a police car, that's right.
I take lots of pictures of the tour
I
so
know.
that we can promote it. And
So one of these years we're going to get you riding.
don't wait too long for that.
Jonathan, tell us about yourself. 20 years, right?
20 years, Mayor. The widely sought after Tour de Elizabeth. We did it in 2004 with maybe 50 to 100 people, and it's caught on, and everybody really looks forward to it. It's just great. It's our 20th anniversary. It's going to be really special.
So, Jonathan, tell us the reason we started this tour to begin with.
We started this tour because our bicycle store was approaching 100 years old at Morris Aaron Bicycles on First Avenue, and Bob Beren and I were having a conversation. He said, we should do a bike tour, Jonathan. Let's ask the mayor if we can do it. So we approached you. It was okay. We had the escort of the police. And the first one was, again, simple, only about 50 to 100 people. And then it just suddenly took off from there.
We had almost 800 riders last year,
That's right. 800 riders last year. It was a costumed event. It was really great. It was superheroes for Super City. And every year we do have a theme. And this year we're bringing out the beautiful signature signs from many of the leading themes for the tour.
So, Jonathan, you married into the Morris Aaron family, or one of them, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Morris Aaron came here in 1904 from South Carolina, chose to go to Elizabeth, New Jersey to start a business where he did bicycles and motorcycles, sold the motorcycles for the police department and maintained them. And then he was offered the first Ford dealership. Cars. He said, cars, they're never going to make it. So we could have been the first Ford dealer in probably New Jersey. He chose to stick with bicycles and motorcycles.
You also supplied General Motors plant where my dad worked with bicycles.
I did that for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Later on, we sold them 3-wheelers and 2-wheelers. And they used to
move around the factory.
They used to ride around the factory. It was a huge 20, 30 acre site, and it was faster than walking.
Right.
Yeah, and your dad was in charge of that purchasing.
Right.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that little tidbit of history.
Yeah.
So, Darren, you've been here a few years. Tell us
Sure.
about your work here in the city with Gov Pilot and how you're involved in the Bicycle Committee.
Okay. Gov Pilot is a series of programs that you're able to access on the city's website to do business with the city, so you don't have to get in your car and drive into City Hall and interact with our staff in person. You can do it all online from the privacy and comfort of your home or your work. You can report concerns about things that are going on in the city simply from using your phone. You could take pictures and send it right in. So it's very exciting for us. We've got tens of thousands of complaints that we've processed for the past 5 years that we've been working on it. So we continue to grow it. We're up to 40 modules now. So look for it on our website, elizabethnj.org. As far as the bike tour goes, Mayor, I got involved probably 2008, 2009 as a citizen who was interested in what was going on in the city and loved this program, thought it was great, thought it was, had all the right values, pro-environment, anti-car. It was a lot of fun to do. So I started photographing it just as a volunteer. And over the years, had discussions with Jonathan and Phillips and many of the other, Dave Strojak, the other committee members, and they asked me to join.
So Darren, Jonathan was just talking about your dad, an influential volunteer at Groundwork many years ago, before his passing. His legacy here at Groundwork, what do you think it's going to be? I mean, he's worked hard to develop Groundwork, Elizabeth.
My dad or Jonathan?
Your dad.
Yes.
Yeah. Your dad was a volunteer. Jonathan gets paid. So.
That's his legacy, yes.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's legacy is definitely volunteerism. I mean, he showed that even with physical ailments and old age, he was in his 80s, you could still come out and contribute to the community. You can still come out and, share your knowledge that you've developed over a lifetime with, youth. He would work with the youth corps. He would, work with other volunteers to teach him all about what makes up good soil. What's the best way of planting seeds, and he planted tens of thousands of seeds that then became plants that fed people. So it was really a fantastic way for him to end his long life, was to be working with Groundwork. He loved every minute of it and loved the people, and it was nice that they named the greenhouse for him after he passed. And it's always great to see, his little head everywhere. On Jackie has a little on a stick and everything, his head on a stick. Jerry's greenhouse. So it was really great, and I'm so happy that they adopted him, late in his life.
So tell me about this. Did he ride the bicycles at General Motors that Jonathan was providing? He did. He
was a material control supervisor, so he did the purchasing for the plant. So when a particular area of the assembly line ran out of a part, he had to find it in their warehouse and rush it over to them so that they don't hold up the plant too long. So they used bicycles, which fascinated me as a kid. Whenever I got to visit, there's all these people just flying by on these three-wheel bicycles with big baskets full of car parts and tools. So it was a nice way of getting things around.
And Morris Aaron supplied those bicycles.
And Jerry remembered me.
He did, yeah.
He did. He really did. When he first met me, he goes, "Oh, I used to buy the bicycles for Morris Aaron for GM." And he did.
What a small world.
Yeah.
So bigger cities have some large-scale biking events, expensive biking events, but ours is more of an affordable family event. What is its broader influence on the community, John?
Yeah, it's more than just about a bicycle ride, Mayor. It's now turned into like a kind of a way of life, a philosophy, and people look forward to it. You can bring your family. We do not encourage people racing around. In fact, this is not a race. I always want to say that, and I mean it. And people do bring their families. We make it easy for families to ride. It's a 15-mile ride, but we cut it in half, so you come right back to City Hall. If you can't make it, there's also a sag wagon to pick up your children or you if you can't make it. And people get a chance to see how incredible this city really is, the history of it, the culture, the diversity. And they usually leave like saying, "I can't believe this is the city that I was thinking of," and it's just an incredible place.
And what's different about this year's tour? What's special about this year?
This year is our 20th anniversary. We're blessed to be 20 years into this, and You started riding it about 5-6 years ago yourself, maybe 10 years
I've
ago?
ridden it, yeah, I would imagine 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many years, but I've ridden it the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and
7.
you always have a smile on your face in those pictures, so you're having a good
It's a
time.
fun day.
Yeah, it is a fun day, and
And
this
people don't believe I ride the whole 15 miles. Shame on those people.
Yeah,
We have pictures.
We have pictures. Darren gets the pictures.
that's right. So this year's the 20th anniversary. I have a special announcement today. I'm really thrilled. I wanted to have like a birthday cake or something.
You're 90 today?
No, but the 20th anniversary of the tour, and we wanted to maybe give people a little taste of an anniversary cake or something. But I spoke to Al Santillo from Santillo's Pizza, and he's going to bring pizzas for everybody to get a taste of Santillo's on the 20th anniversary of the tour.
Is he really?
Yep.
Oh, good for Al.
Yeah.
He's a great guy and a great
Yeah.
corporate partner
Yeah.
here in the
Yeah.
city. And if you want a pizza, go to Santillo's this weekend. Darren, how have you seen the tour evolve over your years involved?
Oh,
Could you tell us your role at the tour? It's one that
Yeah.
documents it.
Yeah, basically, John involved me early on in marketing as well. So we would do the brochures, the flyers. We'd design all those. We even did some early commercials.
You did? Yeah.
Some old school commercials, which may have been responsible for the demographics being a little higher on this tour. And then during the actual day of the ride, I go around and photograph it and capture backdrops of the city that people are surprised about. So, our waterfront, beautiful waterfront as it continues to improve. Each year you can kind of follow its progress by seeing it, the river trail, the parks. So it's been a fun way of documenting the growth of the city.
We're doing the river trail again this year, right?
Definitely. Yes.
So how do people sign up?
So one thing about the river trail is we're going on the river trail, but before we get there, we're going to the new park that the city just built at the foot of the Goethals too.
Mhm.
We're going to enter the trail there. People can still sign up. www.groundworkelizabeth.org or go to the city site elizabethnj.org. Click on it and sign right up.
And the morning of the tour, what time does it start? What time do people arrive?
So we begin registration at 7 a.m. You have a few hours to visit the people that are coming, displaying at different tables, our vendors, our sponsors, and the ride actually begins at 9 a.m.
And it takes about maybe an hour and a half if you take your time.
Yeah, 45 minutes to do the first loop, another 45 minutes to do the second, hour and a half.
Unless there's the fast group, right?
Yeah, we're trying to discourage the fast group from going so fast now. We want to keep everybody together. We've spoken to the police and we're really listening to what they have to say. So we want to hold people back.
Shirts, raffles, prizes, what's going on
All
there?
that stuff. Yeah, first 500 get shirts. Everybody gets a little drawstring bag. People are going to get a little taste of pizza, and everybody's registered into a free raffle. I understand somebody I know is donating a beautiful bicycle.
Every year I donate a
Yeah,
bicycle.
fantastic, and we're doing TV sets, electronics. Everyone's entered into a free raffle.
And the cost to ride?
It's only $25.
Can you still sign up?
You can sign up definitely up until you can actually sign up on the day if you show up there, and we register you on your phone online. So yes, you can. We want you to register early. Makes it easier for us. But if you want to come on that day, you can do it.
So Darren, tell us from your perspective, what's a message you would like to send to the constituency or even those outside of the city of Elizabeth who have not participated in this tour and maybe thinking about it?
Multiple messages, one of which is you're missing a great day, a lot of fun, even, in spite of bad weather, we've had a great time doing the tour. But for those who don't participate, try to work towards it for the next year. But also, if you're driving, it's a Sunday morning, so there's not a tremendous number of cars out. But take it slow, take it easy. Just recognize there's a lot of people. Sometimes people are, stragglers. They fall back a little bit. We just want to make sure, as the police are closing the side roads in particular, that people are not in a hurry and trying to cut through and causing collisions. So we're very cognizant of the safety of the ride. And the values of the ride, to live a more sustainable life, to keep the car parked and walk and bike and, use scooters and e-bikes, whatever, is out there that's going to help the planet.
So Jonathan, what's your closing message to entice people to come out and join us on that Sunday, May 21st?
Come to the 20th Annual Tour de Elizabeth. You will have a great time. Ride it, live it, and love it.
I want to thank both of you for taking the time to join us on the show. Look forward to seeing you at that ride on 21st of May. I'm riding 15 miles. You ride, Jonathan?
I've ridden too.
You've ridden in the past, right? I want to thank Mr. Darren Bryden and Mr. Jonathan Phillips for joining me here this evening. Look forward to seeing you on May 21st for Tour de Elizabeth, the 20th anniversary. Stay with us. There'll be more on Our City. Welcome back to the second half of Our City. For this half, Jonathan Phillips is sticking around, but I'm now joined by Mr. Beren Delgado, who is a Director of Youth Initiatives for Groundwork Elizabeth. Beren, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome, or thank you for having me on your show, Mr.
So first of all, tell us about yourself, Beren. What do you do? How did you get involved? Where'd you go to school?
So I am with Elizabeth. This will be my first year with Elizabeth. The last time I went to school at Kane University. I'm going to graduate this year in environmental science.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's not without its hardships, but I'm getting through it. So I started with Groundwork Elizabeth on Earth Day last year, and it was an amazing spectacle. I just really wanted to get involved with it, so I applied for a position, and here I am today.
So what made you go for environmental science?
It was my 10th grade environmental science teacher. He inspired me that this planet is something that we all share, and it's our responsibility as citizens of this planet to take care of it. And I took that personally, and I wanted to teach future generations how to take care of it as well.
You went to high school here?
Yep, Admiral William F. Halsey Junior Leadership Academy. Before it was a public safety academy.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a great school.
Where do you hope to work after this?
So I hope to get more involved in underdeveloped countries and work more on green infrastructure to try to help mitigate the effects of climate change around the world.
So are you going to ride in the tour?
Not this year. I don't think I'm physically fit to do it this year.
Oh, come on. You're in good shape, kid.
But I have ridden the tour before. Back in 2009, I was 11 at the time. Unfortunately, I did not finish the tour because I was exhausted, and thankfully the EMTs were able to pick me up, and the paramedics.
Oh, you were that exhausted?
Yeah.
And EMT help. Who'd
yes.
you come with? Mom, dad, or?
The whole family, mom, dad, uncle, cousins, they were all involved. It's something that we always did as a family together. I was just unfortunate to not finish that year, but I do plan on actually finishing what I started.
Okay. So maybe you can only ride the second half this year, and then you can say, hey, I finished it.
I finished
It
it.
just took me 12 years in between.
Maybe I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea.
How many youth are going to be volunteering under your direction, and how can they become part of the ride or the event?
So all of our youth will be there at that day. They'll be either riding or helping with the tabling at the event. If anyone is interested in volunteering, you can always just go to our website, groundworkelizabeth.org, and just contact Jonathan or I if you're interested in volunteering and helping out the event.
So you're one of the people behind the scenes that helped make this happen.
Yes.
And how many other young people are behind the scenes working with you, Beren?
So we got about 20 youth at the moment, and that's just including the paid employees. That's not including the volunteers that we have from Elizabeth, and even outside of Elizabeth. A lot of people are interested in our organization, so we don't want to, tell them no, so we welcome them in anyway. So I would say upwards of 30 youth.
Jonathan, we still have sponsors for this event too?
Still have sponsors. We have Elizabethtown Gas, which for the past 5 years has been our lead sponsor. Beren Development Group. We have Union County Savings Bank Foundation for the first time coming on, and a lot of other sponsors that are really committed to this, including Trinitas, Palin Industries, which is the Singer Building, and others.
What kind of, can sponsors still sign up?
Sponsors can sign up. We'd like to have them a little bit ahead of time because as part of the benefits for sponsorship, they get to have technically free riders. So we'd like them to, again, go to groundworkelizabeth.org or call me at 908-289-0262, extension 203. I'll do that one more time, 908-289-0262, extension 203, to get a sponsorship together, and we'll make sure you get all your riders and your benefits you can display at the event as well.
So, Beren, you talked about being 12 and couldn't finish the race. What would you advise somebody, suggestions to prepare for this race. Now that you're an adult, you can see it from two different areas, like when you were 12 and now.
So definitely get a good night's sleep before the day. I struggle with that day. And also just stay hydrated, and it's about enjoying the day, not about finishing a race. So make sure you take your time, you look at the scenery, you take into the history and the culture of Elizabeth, and you just finish out the day with a smile.
And Jonathan, can anybody ride? Where do the people come from for this ride?
It's interesting you said that. 40% of the people come from outside of Elizabeth. So we're really promoting the city, and people are learning about Elizabeth as well. Demographically, we have people over 40 are our primary rider. So this is actually a challenge to you and your generation to please get more of your youth people out there, and they're going to really enjoy it. You know that.
Yes, I know.
So the 20 people that you have coming plus others, or 30, do they assist on the path? What are they doing? Giving out water?
So yeah, their primary objective will be helping out the riders throughout the path, either giving out water, helping with directions, helping with the tabling and the registrations. So either that, or they will be participating in the actual ride. So it just depends on what they want to do that day.
Jonathan, the bike breaks, what do you do?
If a bike breaks, you just stop, pull over. One of our marshals will be getting you. In fact, the marshals have this color shirt on, so look for them, and they'll call the EMT and they'll pick you up on a truck.
Okay, and Beren, how did you find out about this? You know, you were at Kane University. There's a green effort here in Elizabeth called the Youth Council of Groundwork. First of all, how did you find out about it, and how do you encourage other youth to join it?
So my mom brought it to my attention. She's
good for mom.
She's an avid Facebook user, and she brought the attention to me that there's an environmentally focused nonprofit organization here in Elizabeth, which is something I'd never heard of, nor that I think it would be possible to have in Elizabeth. So I applied several times, and I bugged Mr. Jonathan Phillips over here until he finally sat down with me in an interview, and that's how I ended up here today. If you're interested in doing anything involving environmental conservation, just the first step I recommend is reaching out. No one's going to turn you away. Everyone's interested in having more support for environmental causes. So reach out to whoever you want to work with.
As you move on in your career, Beren, can you see yourself continuing to volunteer or to work in some small nonprofits wherever you wind up in life? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, definitely. I see the value of nonprofits now. They're kind of like a bridge between the public and the government, and they help a lot with communities. So I think they have infinite value, and we should take that and be proud of it.
How about some closing thoughts, Jonathan?
I like what he said. That's beautiful. Yeah,
I like what he said too.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
Because he really means it, and that's why he's been our director of youth initiatives, because he does care, and he's a good leader, and we need leadership. And this generation that we're working with, and the Mayor's Youth Council, you can see it as well. This is a very concerned, genuine generation that really wants to do a lot, and people like Beren will lead this generation to greater heights.
Beren, thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Just do what you love. Just know where you are, know what you can do, and know how you can bring something to the table to make a positive change in your community.
Beren, thanks for taking the time out of your schedule to join us here.
No problem.
Appreciate your thoughts and your efforts, and look forward to seeing you on May 21st. Jonathan, thank you once again for all your leadership and groundwork, as well as putting this Tour de Elizabeth together, and you and your team. Thank you.
And thank you, Mayor, for what you do for us, for Groundwork, and for the Tour of Elizabeth.
So this is Mayor Chris Bollwage. I want to thank Mr. Darren Bryden, Mr. Jonathan Phillips, and Mr. Beren Delgado for joining me on Our City discussing the Tour de Elizabeth and the work that Groundwork does to keep a green community. We'll see you next week on another edition.